Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at TRX. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Okay, so because it is so choppy in this move and what it looks like, we just have a three-wave move up here. The way I'm currently looking at the structure is that this could be potentially looking to develop as just a corrective move to the upside. Now, if this is our A wave to the upside, what we'd be looking for typically would be a B wave down. Now, our common area that we actually look to target out with the B wave would be this 50%. To this 786. Now, if I actually turn on this 382, what we can see is we did come down towards this level already. So because of that fact, we need to just be on the lookout that potentially it is possible to say this B is completed here. However, it is also possible that we could still have another leg to the downside. So we need to be aware of that idea. Now, if we are looking at this as a completed move into this area, effectively what we'd be saying here is that within this structure here, this is A, this is B, and then we'd have to look at this as 1, 2, this 2 is actually here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a contracting diagonal in a C wave. Now, because we have 5-wave structure here, we always need to be careful until we actually break back above these highs. There is always the potential we could see price continue to extend to the downside. So because of that fact, we need to be careful, and particularly within this idea of this being a B wave, we also need to be very careful in this zone here of this 1339 to this 0902. As long as we remain below the 786 level here, we need to just be cautious of the idea that we could get a 3-wave move up, and then we could still see that continuation to the downside. So the way that I'm currently looking at this structure is that this move is actually completed into here. And what I think is going on is that we're starting to form a 3-wave move in this way. Now, it is also possible, like I said, this B wave could just be completed here, and we could be looking to start a bigger move to the upside. So we need to be aware of that idea as well. Now, within this, what we would then be saying is that, we're starting to move up from this point. Now, because of how choppy this structure is, we need to also be careful of the idea that we could get something like this playing out, where effectively this just becomes ABC, and we have this as our A wave. And then what we could get here is another 3-wave move to the upside, looking to target out this 1339 to this zone here of this 1063 as a normal target that we look for a B wave if we're looking for the relationship to this A wave. Now, it is always possible within triangles that not all the waves will have this relationship, so it could be something that we rather have just a 3-wave move, something like this, and then we look to break down for another 3-wave move and then have continuation in this way in a triangle where we get 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves down. The problem with triangles is we only get confirmation on this D wave, so we need to be aware that if this is a B wave up, we need to see first a 3-wave move to the upside, then a 3-wave move down, then another 3-wave move to the upside here to confirm this is a triangle. At the moment, we just have 3 waves down and what looks to be a diagonal to the upside. We're going to go over this idea. If we are looking at this as a B wave, what I'd want to see is a good 3-wave structure in 535 for this B. Alternatively, we could get something a bit more complicated where it could be a double zigzag where we have 535, then a connector wave, then 535. So that would be the only way that this could be potentially a B wave completed where it is. Now, within this idea, like I said, we'd be looking for 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves down again. If this is a B wave high, then our invalidation point would be this high, and we wouldn't want to come above that, and below this A wave would also be our invalidation point within this idea of the triangle. So within this, we're still looking for pretty much the same 2 ideas here. Within the triangle, this could be potentially a B wave if it's a double zigzag. Alternatively, what we could have here is something more along these lines. So we're going to come down here and we're going to go over this lower degree counting now. So within this count, what we'd be looking for here would be the potential of a diagonal pattern. What we'd be saying is that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up into here for this as a wave. Then we'd be looking at this as a triangle here for this B wave, and then looking at this as our C wave to the upside. Now, if this is the case, then what we'd have is just a 3-wave move up here. If this is a wave 1 in this case, this would be a wave 2, and what we'd be looking for here would be another 3-wave move to the upside. Now, given the current structure here, what we would not like to see is a move up past this 1226. Moving up past 1226 would invalidate the idea of this as a diagonal. Now, what I would ideally like to see here, the problem is if this is our wave 1 area here, then potentially, we don't have a wave 3 area yet. So once we have a wave 3 target in spot you know, we can then look for the diagonal lines to be obeyed from that point. So I have just drawn them temporarily from this area here, but what I would be looking for effectively would be this move to be our A wave up. We're looking for a 3 wave down. Now, a typical zone we look to retrace is this 7800 to this 6993. If this is the case and we have this as 3 waves down, what we'd then be expecting is a 5 wave move back to the upside. And if we did have to say come down into this golden pocket area here, which would be the 7456, what we could see is this C wave look to play to the upside, and then depending on how deep we come here, this would adjust this C wave target. Now, if we are looking for this as some kind of a diagonal pattern here, what we want to see is this actually form a contracting shape here. So we don't want to see this third wave get too excited here and start pushing up past these levels here, really of this 1092. Otherwise it becomes more likely that this is something else playing out here, because what we want to see is this actually form within a contracting wedge shape. So this is what I'm looking out for here. It is technically possible we could be completed into this area over here, where we argue that this is A, B, and then we're going to get a C wave up. But what we'll have to see is that confirmation first by the push to the upside. So the idea within this would be that we have this is A, B, and C for our third wave. Then we'd get another 3 wave move down, and then we'd get another 3 wave move up for this 5th wave. Now, it's hard to give a target for this because we have to work this off of the 5th wave area. So if we get this wave 3 come out and be formed, effectively the wave 5 cannot be longer than the distance set by this wave 3. So that's what we're going to be looking for here if we do look to follow this idea of the diagonal here. Now, if we are looking at this in this way, effectively what we'd be looking for after this move would be whether we find support. So if we do form this as a diagonal here, up into this as an A wave, if we get 3 waves down and maintain this area of this 5380 and this low here of this 4526, then potentially this could look to either turn into an ABC pattern if we move up towards this 1370, or alternatively, if we do see a bigger move to the upside here, where we hit this 1618 area, which would be this 2247, effectively this could then become 1, 2, a bigger third wave, and then we'd be looking for this as a 5 wave pattern. So this would be looking for that evidence that we have a low in place. If we find support in this white target box and then look to see a 5 wave move which pushes up past this 2247, this would align with the idea of this move looking to extend out, which could then mean that we're on our way to some of those higher targets. Now, the other way that we could argue that this is actually taking place is looking at this structure slightly different. And what we could then say is that instead of counting this as 1, 2, 3, this is a flat here, and then this is a 5. What we could also argue here is that this is just A, B, and then this is our C wave. If this is the case, effectively this would be 1, 2 here. We then treat this as A triangle for B, C to the upside, and then we'd be looking at this as our 4th wave. Now, if this is the case, effectively what we want to see here is the potential of another 3 wave move to the upside. We could argue that within here we have something like a diagonal pattern, and then some kind of a triangle over here, and then this is our C wave, and this 5th wave could be complete. Alternatively, if we want to just count this from 5 waves, what we'd be looking for here would be 3 waves down, same as the other idea, that we're going to look for support between this 07456 to this 06993, and then we'd be looking for that potential of an additional push to the upside. Now, the key thing within this count is invalidation comes by crossing this red line here, which is sitting at this 10 cents 11. Now, if we do see price push up past this point, then this would mean that we have something else going on here, and we potentially have some extension where we could see price actually looking to just progress up in a bigger 5 wave move. If, however, we fail to see this support zone hold and we cross this wave 4 sitting at this 6449, what we could then have is, like I said, potentially this A wave is completed here. Now, if we are looking at it in this way, what we'd be looking for then would be that this is our A wave. We're looking for a B wave to the downside. Invalidation point is the same, this 4526. And what we'd be looking for is a retracement potentially down into this area here of this 06536 to this 05297 as a possible B wave target. Now, if we do see something like this, it would be more likely that we're going to see something drag out like a 3 wave move down, 3 wave move up, another 5-wave move down, something like this, making it a bit larger so we can compare it to this wave A in this case. If, however, we start to break down here, we need to be careful of the idea that from further back here, we don't have something like a flat correction, in which case we could be looking to see a direct push down. Now, it's not my primary expectation given the current structure, but it is always possible that if we lose this 0.526, then it could be that we are actually looking to start that C wave directly to the downside. Now, looking at the lower degree counts here, what I'm saying at the moment is that this is looking most likely to be an A, B, and a C. So what I'm looking for this is that the 1-to-1 is actually lowered down here at the 7243. We have reached the 0.618 already, so I'm just being cautious that if we do see price look to turn around here, this could be a completed ABC pattern. But if we do look to come down a little bit more here, what we could have is that this is actually a fourth wave, 1, 2, 3, 4. So as long as we stay below this zone here of the 07744, what we could see is that this could actually just still be a fourth wave here, and then we look for a fifth wave down. Now, we always need to be careful within structure like this, because this could also be 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we see a bigger break to the downside and we look to extend. So until we actually start to take these highs, we don't really have any proof of reversal. Now, if we are looking at this in this way, what we'd be saying is after a 3-wave move up here, we're going to see a 5-wave move to the downside. Now, the target area for this would be this 0.7597 and this 0.7565 as a potential target. Alternatively, here what we do have as a different target box would be using this wave 4 to measure it. We do have this 0.7578 to this 0.7490. So if we do see price actually form something like this, where this is 1, 2, 3, we get 3 waves up, we get a 5-wave move down. What we need to do then is monitor what happens after this point. If we get 3 waves up, this could align with continuation to the downside as long as we stay below this high. If, however, we see price start to react to the upside in 5 waves and we start to take out this level, then potentially what we could see here is a reversal point where we are looking for that possibility of seeing a bigger 5-wave move to the upside. But within this idea here, we need to be careful of extension down, because we do have some very impulsive looking structure to the downside here. Now, it could be just this is just ABC and then we look to reverse to the upside. What I'm being mindful of is that if this move is just rather, instead of this being A, B, and C, this could be 1 and 2, and this could be another 1 and 2. So if we either reverse from where we are currently, or we get this additional 5th wave to the downside and then look for some kind of a reversal up until we actually take these highs of this B wave here at this 0.8531, we need to be careful that this could become 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to the downside, and then we'd have this as a bigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that would be meaning that, you know, off these highs here, we're looking for a much bigger breakdown. So we need to be careful of that idea. Now, currently off of this B wave high, effectively that 3rd wave, if we're going to look at this as an idea of this is 1, 2, and this is the 3rd wave, this would be typically looking to target out the 6546. So if we do see price start to break down in a more aggressive way here, what we could see is price could be looking to push down into some of these lower levels. Now, what we also need to be careful of is in extensions, we can get something like this, where this is 1, 2, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, where actually the wave 1 is extended, and what we're going to see is a shorter 3rd and a 5th wave. So this is why this target's going to be important here. If we fail to break back above the highs, these bearish scenarios are still in play. Now, if we are looking to complete here, what we also need to be careful of is that this move in itself could just become a bigger A, a B, and a C to the downside if we're looking for that bigger retracement for that wave 2. So the key thing here is that if we're going to see that continuation to the upside, first thing we want to see is a 5-wave move up. We want to then find support above this low, and then we want to see price looking to continue breaking these highs, and then we'll want to see this secondary move over here hit that 1.618 of this move drawn from this low to this high back into this low. That'll be what we want to see for confirmation of a bigger move to the upside looking to play out. Having a look at the daily CPR lines here, what we can see is that we are actually rejecting off our center lines currently. We have managed to get back above our bottom line, but we do have potential to find resistance at this 77.10 and this 77.49. Now, if we do look to find resistance at these, and we look to push down, other targets for today would be this 7550. We have this 7464. we have this 7304 and this 7220. Now, if we do look to manage to hold this level and get back above these central lines, targets for today then become this 7795. We also have the previous daily high that is sitting up here towards this 7869, which I would be keeping an eye on if we see price come up there. We do also have this 7956, 8042, and 8201 as potential targets for today. Now, if we come over here and have a look at the weekly pivot points, what we can see is that during this week, we haven't actually had an interaction with these central lines. Now, if we do see price look to move back up here, these could be potentially resistance now between this 8075, we have this 8154, and this 8231. So this is why it's going to be important that if we do see price reversing to the upside here, until we actually break these highs, we need to be cautious that this could still become 1, 2, and then we look to break down in a bigger way. Now, if we are looking at the direct target above us, what we could see here is that this 7760 as our S1 line could flip into resistance here if we see price come up into this. Once again, that idea of seeing something like a bigger breakdown here, we'd need to be cautious of that possibility. If we are looking at further downside targets for this week, we have this 7518 and this area here of the 7129. Now, this would align with the idea of having an additional push down here for this fifth wave. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this because this is right in that target there. If we fail to get back above the S1 line that we've got over here. Now, if we come over here and have a look at the monthly pivots, what we can see here is that we have actually printed a higher CPR line here. So this is initially giving us a bullish bias here, but what we need to see is whether price confirms this or rejects this. Now, what I want to see here, if we're going to see a bullish move, is we need to be careful of this 8020, this 8247, and this 8476 area as potential resistance. Once again, this would align with something like this, playing to the upside in 3 waves and then getting that rejection down. Now, if we are looking at this area here, I want to see price get back above these and turn these into support and then look to continue to the upside. Targets for this month to the upside would be this 8976. We have this 1016 and this 1089 as potential upside targets for this month. Though for as long as we remain below these, we need to be cautious of the idea price could get attracted towards this 7046 area to the downside. So this would only really happen if we do see some kind of an extension within here, where potentially this becomes 1, 2, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, something to that effect to the downside. That could then bring us into some of these lower levels. Other targets to the downside for this month would be the 6323 if we fail to move back above these lines. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.